talk a little bit about vibrato and learning vibrato and some of the pitfalls that come up along the way. I'm Dr. Valissa Wilworth, and this is Violin Wise. So this video is not about teaching you how to vibrate, but I really want to highlight some things that I have discovered in my teaching that may go unnoticed as you're learning to vibrate. And if you're having some frustrations about it, check these things out because these may be part of the problem. So when we speak of vibrato, we generally talk in terms of it being one of two types. Some people call it wrist vibrato or hand vibrato or finger vibrato as kind of one idea. And the other one is what we call arm vibrato. So they look like this. So this would be wrist or hand vibrato. So you see I'm flexing from here and not really moving my elbow. Okay, totally fine. Or the arm vibrato, where the wrist is maintaining a stationary position and then flexing from the elbow. Now, some teachers prefer one, some teachers prefer the other. Frankly, from my perspective, it depends on what I'm playing because the sound is different. And I'll show you one more time so you can hear the difference. And I will choose the color of the vibrato according to what I'm doing. And honestly, sometimes your vibrato, as you become more proficient, and particularly as you become more of a professional, you may end up kind of mixing the two a little bit here, a little more of this, a little bit of that. That's just becoming an artist. And that's like the chef that just knows this dish needs just a little bit more of this spice. This dish needs a little bit less of it. So you can hear it again. Here is the hand vibrato. If I go immediately into arm, you hear how the sound changes. So depending on the repertoire I'm playing or the passage that I'm playing, I may want a little bit more or a little bit less of the other. So when we're learning vibrato, there are some things we want to make sure that are happening. So in order for a vibrato to be as easy as possible without wearing you out, the key is to consolidate the motion. And the motion needs to be coming from the last phalanx of your finger. That is actually what a vibrato is doing. And it's that rocking motion up and down the string that creates the oscillation of the pitch. So in order to isolate that motion, I need to make sure that I'm not doing a couple other things that could be getting in the way. And one of the primary things that folks will do when they're learning is that rather than just coming up and down on the string with that finger, you see the flexion there, they will inadvertently start to rotate this way to try to create the motion. So what happens is that I have extra motion that's in a more rotational pattern, which isn't actually changing the pitch to the degree of effort that I'm putting into it. So I am wasting a lot of motion, which after you extrapolate that out to extended periods is exhausting for the hand. And also you're not getting the oscillation that you really want. So we try harder. So then we spin faster or we spin harder. And that's a downward spiral, no pun intended, with the rotation. So the way to avoid that is that you want to make sure that your fingernails on the string are pointed up at a 45-degree angle. You can even think of them pointed more towards your left ear. If the angle of your fingers is such that the fingernails are pointing more behind you, going this way. So right now, the way my finger is, that's the angle. Okay, now when I flex that finger, I'm actually going across the string this way, which is not changing the pitch hardly at all compared to the amount of effort I'm putting into it. So let me say that again. You really want the angle of the fingernails, the angle of the fingers. I think of it fingernails, so you can kind of visualize it because you can see it. So that they're pointing as much up the string as possible. Now, It's physically impossible for me to be parallel to the string because I'm on the outside of the neck. But you want to get as close to that as you can. That way, the oscillation that you're creating actually is going up and down the string, which means that you need a lot less effort to change the pitch. So that's the first thing. So you want to avoid rotation, and you want to avoid being too far across the string this way so that you're flexing across the string. So I'll leave you with that. That's a lot to chew on. Go and give this a try. Tell me how it works out for you. Shoot me a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Dr. Valissa Wilworth, and this is Violin Wise.